So welcome back to episode number 2 of Crime and Punishment in AM. Today we're going to take a look at the murder case down in Florida and why did Eljah Martin decide that he needed to kill his friend Logan. Was it really all over just money? Or did Eljah Martin feel threatened by Logan's ability and his charm? And was he just jealous of the fact that a girl that he had his eye on liked Logan more than him? Why did he kill him? Why did it have to come to this point? Friends killing friends. So thanks for joining me today. So quick little background on these two individuals. Eljah Martin, 18 years old, whole life in front of him. He was in and out of trouble and been suspended from school. He had the cops and the sheriffs there in his area knew him very well. Oh, believe me, they knew him well. They knew he was on the fast track to prison. Everyone knew it. His parents they really didn't care what happened to him. They say they cared, and they always were welcoming him home every time he got out of jail or got out of juvenile hall or, was finally done with, his probation, or something. But he was always in trouble. From a little age. The first time he was actually in trouble was at the age of 11 when he was stopped by a sheriff deputy for throwing rocks at cars as they drove down the road. 11 years old. Now, it didn't get any better for him. He was not a very good student in school. No one ever tried to really seriously intervene to save this child from going down the wrong path. Socioeconomic level, poor. Most of his family was on welfare or some kind of assistance, so they lived in an assisted, rent-controlled, mobile home or apartment. He didn't really have the desire or the education to go on to do anything else. According to one of his friends who spoke with CBS channel 4 in his area for this story, Eljah Martin, his only goals in this world were how to make a buck a lot faster without having to work for it. He had the desire to become rich. But if he was ever seriously get there, he didn't have the education or the training to know what to do with the money. He was very good at a couple of things early on. Starting at the age of 15, he was able to find a way to acquire alcohol and sell it to his friends. Then pills, taking and stealing pills from his grandparents or his mother and selling them, chopping them up and selling them, breaking them up and selling them. He realized right away that, he could take one Oxycontin and break it up into 3 parts and sell it to 3 friends. He had always been doing things like this. This is according to his friends. He was always willing to make a buck doing something, even if it was illegal. On his criminal record, he was never charged with, selling of narcotics before, but he definitely is now. He's looking at first-degree murder, distribution of marijuana. He was buying large quantities of weed, breaking it up and selling it into smaller portions, and then giving the money back up to the person that he had fronted him the weed. And that's where the problem really comes into play here in this case, and why he killed Logan. But was it really just for the money? Well, according to Martin and what he had said to his friends, was there was a large amount of cash that went missing from the sales of the marijuana, and Martin had to come up with that money. Depending upon who you listen to, it was either $9,000, it was $12,000, or it was $20,000 went missing, and he blamed Logan for the money missing, and but he didn't exactly keep it in a secured lockbox or anything else. He kept it in a boot box. It was a cardboard box that a pair of boots had come in. That's what he kept the cash in, and he kept it in his room underneath his bed. When they served the warrant on the home, they found the box with cash in it, scale, pills. They found marijuana that had been broken up into portions, for street sales, and they found a log in there of how much money how much weed he was fronted up front, how 1 pound, 2 pounds, or whatever it was, and then it broke it down how he was breaking down each portion, skimming a little bit off of each one to make, basically he would break it down into like a 20 portion size, take a pinch off of each one, and then he would make him 2 extra bags, and those 2 extra bags that he sold, those were 100% all his money, because he cheated the first 19, 20 people, or whatever the portion is that he broke it down into, and then those last ones were all his. And then this is where the money came up, that was stolen from him, and he blamed Logan. So who was Logan? Logan was an average student in school. He had a lot of friends, well respected by his mother and his friends, but he did have, even at the age of 16, he did have some issues. Just like a lot of kids at the age of 16, they're trying to find themselves emotionally and spiritually, and find their where they fit in this world. Logan was like that. He had a couple run-ins with the law, but nothing serious, nothing anywhere near what Eljah Martin had been up to. But he did get into helping Eljah, his friend, in sales of marijuana. But the biggest problem with Logan was a girl who Eljah really had his eye on. Was infatuated more with Logan, and this really caused a rift between their friendship, because Eljah wanted this girl, and Eljah wanted the girl, and Logan was kind of like, whatever, I don't really care, that she's infatuated with me, but he really didn't care. But Eljah saw Logan as someone who was in the way of his future romance with this girl. And then the money came up missing, and that was like the straw that broke the camel's back. And reading what the friend had to also say to CBS Channel 4, and reading the CBS Channel 4's coverage on this out of their area, it's very apparent that just about everybody knew that Martin was dealing weed. That he was a weed dealer. Everybody at the high school knew he was the weed dealer. You wanted weed, you went to Martin. And it was also known in the community that Martin was had the good weed, and to go see Martin if you wanted weed. And that's where he also got into some serious trouble, because he was dealing weed to some very shady people who, and some of these were felons, but he still did it. So on this day in particular, he texted Logan that they needed to talk, and they need to go for a walk and talk this out and figure out how the hell this money came up missing, and what they were going to do to get the money to pay the drug dealers who had fronted him all of the weed. And this is what in the text message. So Logan showed up. And Logan is 16 years old, by the way, and Martin is 18. So he showed up at his, agreed upon location. The two of them went for a walk, and they were walking along it's kind of like a hunter's trail, deer trail in the woods. They came to about a clearing area, and just as they were about to descend down into like a little bit of a valley gully area, Martin stopped, pulled out his handgun from his pocket, and shot Logan once in the back of the head, killing him instantly. And then he just calmly put the gun back into his pocket, turned around and walked back the other direction and left. Left this 16-year-old boy dead in the forest, as if he was nothing at all. As if, he didn't care. It was, where's my money? Where's my money, bro? He killed him over the cash. Because Martin is a dead man if he doesn't come up with the cash to pay the drug dealers who gave him the weed. That is what the truth is. That is what you need to understand about this case. Troubled youth, crime, no attention or anybody caring what the hell happened to Martin. His parents, nobody cared about him. The school system had written him off. Nobody wanted to intervene in this kid's life. No one. The sheriff, the city police, everybody was like, he's a bad apple. Let's just get rid of him. We know he's going to prison eventually. Let's just send him there. He's now faced with first-degree murder, distribution of marijuana, money laundering, and a couple other crimes that, well, the money laundering hasn't been officially been labeled on him yet. The DA says he may file charges, but Martin may also be able to roll over on the drug dealers that he was getting the weed from in some kind of a plea deal. That remains to be seen. But he killed his friend over weed, over money. Did he also do it because the girl that had a crush on Logan was the girl that Martin had his eye on? Did that play into it? According to his friend, it may very well have been. Just another little piece of the puzzle of why he killed his friend. So, thank you for joining me for Murder, it's not Murder and Coffee, Crime and Punishment. Wow. Did he do it for other reasons? Remains to be seen. All for what?